Welcome to The Conscious Creative from MuseWorks Audio. The Conscious Creative is a podcast featuring interviews with artists who are doing transformational work in their craft and in their communities. Join us as we discuss different artistic philosophies, give you brand new tools to bring back to your creative spaces, and build a community of artists dedicated to deepening their relationship with their craft. I'm your host, Mike Irish. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to another episode of The Conscious Creative. Today we sat down with Kareem Guy, who is an indie artist coach, and he runs the Instagram page Keyztothegame. He provides not only great content through social media to help artists understand how to move in the industry more effectively, but he also provides services to help artists develop release plans and roadmaps to set and attain goals. We spoke a little bit about how he came to be in the music industry, what his philosophy is in his business, and what he sees indie artists struggling with as well. I think this is a really valuable interview for indie artists who are struggling and don't have a game plan and maybe don't know what their next move is. So I hope that you buckle in and take some notes and check out his page as well, because it's full of really, really great content. Before we get into the episode, I want to talk about my studio, MuseWorks Audio. I run MuseWorks Audio, which is a recording and post-production studio in British Columbia, Canada, but I mostly work online with musicians from all over the world. I really try to honor the creative process in my studio because music has been such a healing force in my life. I want artists to know that when they work with me, that they're working with someone who really cares, and I want them to feel heard. So during the process, I take a lot of care in checking in and informing artists, referencing and revising, and making sure that we're consistently working towards what the artist is hearing. It's really important to me that when the process is complete, the artist is excited to share the final product with the rest of the world. If that sounds of interest to you and you're working on a project right now, please go to www.museworksaudio.com or direct message me on Instagram at MuseWorksAudio to request a quote. Now, without further ado, let's get into the episode with Kareem Guy. Welcome, Kareem, to The Conscious Creative. I really appreciate you taking the time to do the interview and just talk about your work and about the music industry in general, man.
For sure. I appreciate you having me, man.
So what's the backstory in how you got into the music industry, and what's your story, how you came to be in it?
For sure. So I want to say, like, I've always been infatuated with music. I think the first time that I actually made a song, it was back in 2006. I was in middle school, and my buddies and I, we were just joking around, and one guy was like, "Hey, let's rap," and that's something I had never done before. And I had a brand new laptop that my mother had just bought me. We went to my boy's basement. He had like this really cool sound system in his basement, so he played a track. I mean, we agreed on a beat. We loaded it up on my computer. We didn't have any mic or any like a professional mic, like a condenser mic or anything like that. So we had this like it wasn't even a USB mic. It was a 3.5 millimeter jack mic that you could plug into the computer. We hung it, we taped it from the ceiling, and then we played the beat in the background and used the recorder that was native on the computer. And we kind of just recited our verses and hooks together, like one after another. And so that's where things like really all began for me. And then from there, like I kind of just took that from the group setting and just brought it home with me and kind of just started doing things on my own. And as years went by, I realized that this is obviously something for me because I never stopped. Like I kept, like I had dreams of being an artist myself, like going big. And like as time really went by, like I got introduced to stuff like Pro Tools, like the actual, the professional stuff I got introduced to. And like that's when I still had dreams of being an artist. So like the more I learned about that, like I started to buy my own stuff at home and record myself at home. put my songs on SoundCloud, which a lot of them are actually still up on SoundCloud from like 7 years ago, and I still go back and listen to them. Yeah. And then I realized like I got involved with a group of artists, and the group, I was related to the group. The artists in the group, they were my cousins, and we all had, you know, the dream of making it big. And what ended up happening was I started playing numerous roles. And this is kind of where like the magic really started to happen for me. I started playing a lot of roles. So like the first role that I played outside of being an artist was I became a manager. So like I started doing a lot of managerial things, like, you know, just the networking and handling social media and responding to emails, and, you know, just keeping us in network and finding out when, you know, this event is happening so we can appear at this event and rub shoulders with this and that and perform at this and so on and so forth. And you know, that kind of like rolled into the camera guy. Like I went and literally invested in my first camera. It was a $600 Canon Rebel. I can't remember the model, but it set me back $600. I bought the camera, and I ended up being the camera guy too. So I was taking a lot of photos. I was taking videos. I was creating vlogs. So I kind of also like migrated into like the video person. So like I would chop up videos and put stuff on YouTube for the group. And so like that merged into being full-time cameraman. So like I did that for a while, and that was a great experience. But I say all that to say, like, I've played just about every role. I've been the web designer. I've been the social media guy. I've been the videographer. I've been the manager. I've been the artist. I've been the engineer. I've been the producer. Like, I've done it. I've worn all the hats. And like at every single stop, I realized that there was stuff that artists were not doing to really send themselves to the next level. It's like I unlocked a whole level of knowledge at every single point or every single stop that I was at. And I was like, wow, like there's a lot of things that I was bringing back to my camp. And I was like, hey guys, like there's a lot of stuff that we're not doing that we need to execute on and take care of. And they didn't want to listen. And I guess it's because artists are just generally really headstrong. You know what I mean? Artists just, they feel like they know what's best for themselves, and that's just how they try and execute stuff. But, you know, here I am saying, no, guys, we got to get the music registered. Hey, guys, no, before we meet with the director, we need to have a strategy for the release. No, guys, we got to have this. We got to do that. You got to go crazy on your social media. You know what I mean? But a lot of that kind of just fell to the deaf ears. And that's what really led me to create my platform. Like that sparked me to create my platform, because as I really began to do some solid research on a lot of these things, I began to realize that what I was onto was in fact the right direction to go in. And because I'm so passionate about music, and because I really want like, I feel like indie artists are just the underdog versus the industry right now. Cause you know, the industry isn't always in favor of the indie artists. They just kind of want to capitalize off the artists for the most part. So like, I'm super pro indie right now. And I just want independent artists to be as well informed as possible. And that's the reason why I created my platform.
Yeah. Man, there's so many parallels in my story compared to yours, man. All the way down to like the 3.5 millimeter mic with music playing in the background, recording my first songs as well. So funny.
Humble beginnings.
Yeah. So how long have you been working on your platform with Keys to the Game?
It's been about a year. I just got a memory. Yeah. I got a memory on Facebook not too long ago. Honestly, it wasn't even called Keys to the Game in the beginning. It was called Hype Trilla.
Right.
Because I was originally just trying to create a platform where artists could kind of just have like their music videos, like kind of like a blog, you know, in a sense, like an indie blog. And like I used to write articles. I still write articles. And so like that's originally what it was supposed to be about a year ago. And then it kind of just morphed into this platform where like I'm the face of it, because I felt like, yes, I was putting tips and stuff up on the internet for artists to, you know, take note of, but like I wanted to be the face of the brand. Like, you know, like I wanted the people to know who I was. And I felt like it just made it more personable coming from a person, you know, versus it being from an entity. So that's why I decided to make the shift. And a buddy of mine, you know, said, well, like I was trying to figure out like, what should I call the Instagram? Because at this time I was really focused on photography. So my Instagram just had like a bunch of photos and stuff on it that I had taken. And it was like, well, like I got to change it up. What do I want to call it? And like, I was just sitting in the car with my buddy, and I was like, yo, I got to figure this out. And he was like, yo, you should call it Keys to the Game. And I was like, bro. And then it just made sense because I am providing, I mean, well, the music industry and the business itself, is commonly called the game. Like, a lot of people say like, all right, well, I'm trying to get in the game, what I mean? So because it's the game, well, like I got the keys to it because I'm providing you the knowledge. Keys unlock stuff. So I'm allowing you to unlock the knowledge that's going to get you to your end result. Hence, keys to the game.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So it's been about a year, man.
that's crazy, crazy growth, man. And what you're doing on your platform is really, really dope. Like,
Thank you.
before I started my studio, I didn't understand the business side of things. I didn't even really
Mhm.
think about the business
Most
side of
people don't.
things. I
Most
know,
people don't.
man. And success is like this thing that you just sort of like think maybe will appear if you're like a dope enough artist or something like that.
Mhm.
And I think like platforms like yours can really help people switch their mindset.
That's
Um,
a goal.
yeah. So I really like truly appreciate what you're doing with your platform, man.
I thank you, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate you for stumbling upon it and
Yeah.
coming
Yeah.
this far with me, man. Helping me get
Yeah.
this message out there, and what you're doing is really noble too. So I respect you, man.
Cool. Thank you, man. Yeah,
No doubt.
I love just popping on your page and just getting a little bit of inspiration from day to day.
No doubt.
Um what do you think is like, is there one thing or maybe three things that you see like almost every indie artist like making the mistake of or struggling with?
Yeah. Um. First, first thing, which I think is this is like the most important thing, is branding. A lot of artists kind of they just they just get on social media platforms and then they just start doing stuff. Like they just start shooting stuff out and hoping that it sticks. And you know, I it just doesn't work like that. Like you have to figure out your why. You have to figure out, your brand pillars, your reasoning for doing what you're doing, and that's going to help you understand who your target market is so that you can speak to them correctly. So branding is definitely going to be number one. Number two, I see a lot of artists struggle with social media, just running themselves as a business entity on social media. And I'm actually I'm wrapping up a book on this, on just like knowing how to promote yourself correctly as an artist on Instagram and just social media in general. But one of the things that I noticed is, a lot of people are on the platforms because they know that that's the way to reach the masses. However, no one has went to school to know how to properly use Instagram. Like, there's this term, the algorithm, that we throw around. Like, everyone says the algorithm, the algorithm, the algorithm, but like, what is this algorithm? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
how do you manipulate the algorithm and set yourself apart with, all these different profiles that are on Instagram? And, I just think that a lot of artists don't understand the platform correctly. They just know that they need to be there. So running themselves on as an entity on social media will be number two. And then number three is definitely going to be a proper rollout for music for the next release, for like a single or an album like that. Like a lot of artists don't really know how to roll their music out effectively. They kind of, like I said in the beginning, for branding, is they kind of just shoot and just hope that stuff sticks on the wall. And that's not necessarily how it works. You do have to be strategic about what you do. You have to make sure that everything that will make a successful release is premeditated and taken care of before you even, go ahead and go for the gusto. So yeah, that's my three right there.
Yeah. Yeah. What what would you like define branding as? Because I'm sure there's people
Mhm.
listening that don't even necessarily um like understand what that word even means.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people think that it's just like colors and stuff like that. The colors, it's like colors
Yeah.
and your logo, but it's deeper than that. Like your brand, like I said before, it's your why, it's your story. Like it's literally the compass to the way that you navigate yourself. I mean, like literally once you figure out your branding, as long as you remember to keep everything on brand going forward, you cannot lose. You can't lose. Like I've clearly defined my brand, and I know what the boundaries are to my brand. So every time I do something, I make sure I keep that in mind. And when it comes to branding, like you want to make sure when you're on your interviews, you're exemplifying your brand. You want to make sure that when you sit down with the director and you come up with a treatment for a music video, you want to make sure you incorporate stuff from your brand. Like you literally have to be your brand. Like soon enough, like I know you see the aesthetic on my page. It's 2021, all merch, all me. Like everything is gonna say my colors, Keyztothegame. I'm probably gonna decorate my room, paint my walls to be my brand
Yeah.
colors. Like you have to
Yeah.
live, eat, sleep your brand.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, once I'm still in the midst of figuring it out, but definitely as I came up with like the core values of what I want to do as like a studio and as a business, it just
Mhm.
clarifies the roadmap to such an immense degree and like makes things so much more clear, I find.
Right. Right. I agree with that. It does. It opens your eyes up like tenfold,
Yeah,
tenfold,
yeah,
tenfold.
yeah, straight up. Um, so yeah, what services do you offer through Keys to the Game? Do you have any like specific services, or is
Mhm.
there any specific ways that you help indie musicians or
Yeah.
artists?
So most of the time, a lot of artists aren't really sure what they want to do or like what they need. Like they know that they're lacking in some area, but they just need to gain a little bit more clarity. So the first thing, very low pressure thing that I always offer is a 15-minute call. It's free. The link for it is in my bio. You can sign up for it. Literally, when you sign up for it, there's like a little questionnaire where you can tell me where you struggle with. It's not limited to just one thing. It's multiple choice. You can put those things on there, and then that's kind of how we just get going. But beyond the 15-minute free call, I do have a very general coaching call, because even after that 15 minutes is not enough to kind of like get everything from somebody. So I say low impact. I have like a low impact coaching call, where there's no specific topic. It's just very general. You can come to me and we can finish our discussion about what it was that we spoke about on the free call, or we can continue where we left off on that if there was no action after that call. So, that's at an hourly right there. So you can pick, what slot you want me for. And then if you're someone who kind of has like a specific objective, like let's say you have a song that you're going to be releasing pretty soon, well, and you don't know how to plan it out, because remember I said that rollout is really important. You can hire me to come help you come up with a specialized plan. We sit for 2 hours. We use Zoom. Like I write stuff out for you. You get tangible stuff you can leave with. When we get done, you're going to have a very clear focus as what needs to come next. So I have specialized calls for branding as well. I have specialized calls for just a 6 month to 12-month plan. Like if you just need to figure out how you're going to dominate the year, half the year, the rest of the year, like I'll help you out with that. If you want to learn how to be more effective with social media, we go over hashtags, proper posting times, your aesthetic, your bio, the proper link to put inside of your bio, and how to kind of just get that sales funnel going. Like
Yeah.
we can talk about that as well. So I have all those services on my website, keystothegame.com, right now.
Damn, man. That's really dope that you offer all those services, and I think super pertinent for so many artists out there, man.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Yeah.
Just trying to do what I can.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I appreciate you doing the work, man.
Of course.
Um, so yeah, we ran through this pretty quick, but um, I feel like there's no need to stretch it out because you dropped so many gems in such a short period of time
Yeah.
that it's all good, man. I just have one last question before we wrap it up, and that's what impact you're trying to leave with the work that you do.
What impact am I trying to leave with the work? Honestly, my end goal with all of this, I think I want to start a label. I think I want to start a label. I think now in 2021, I mean, even in 2020, there's no better time. There's been no better time to be an indie artist. Like right now, like all the tools and the research, like everything is there for you. It's everything you could possibly need to be a dope artist that doesn't need to be signed and on the radio, but still successful and thriving and able to pay all your bills and then some, you know what I mean, and take care of your family, like all those resources are available for I'm one of them. You know what I mean? So, you know, I really want to start a label. And with the label that I have, I truly want to empower the artists. Like I want the artists, I want to educate my artists. I want every artist on my label to feel like when they're there, it's like, okay, like not only I have a space with the resources and tools to be able to further my platform, but I'm also going to leave with the knowledge. I don't want to tie anybody down. Like I don't want to be like, you know, like any of those major labels where like I want to own your masters even till after you die. Like I don't want to do that. Like, you know, that's not my style. I want you to gain as much as you can. I want to be a platform. I want to be a stepping stone, you know, like I don't want to be the big kahuna, you know, the monopoly. I'm not trying to, that's not what I'm trying to do. I just want to help, you know. I want to give them the knowledge that I didn't have when I was starting this whole process. You know, had I had the knowledge that I'm giving out to artists now for myself, I may not even be sitting here with you right now. I may be, you know, on somebody's island, you know, sipping a mojito or something like that, you know, just chilling, working on my next single or my album or something like that, you know. You know, but everybody deserves to live that kind of lifestyle, and everyone deserves to have success, you know, in whichever way that they define success.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
On
Man,
the
it's
way out.
crazy. I have a very similar plan hatching in my brain right now as well. Something that I've
Yeah.
been thinking about. I mean, obviously my platform is like just starting out and everything like that, but yeah, just like the idea of empowerment and empowering indie artists, I think is huge. I mean, not just for indie
Sure.
artists, but for the culture, for our culture in general, just having artists
Yeah.
who can be empowered to speak their mind, I think is super important, honestly.
Yeah. Telling you, man, it's a lot of dope artists out there that have really great messages. I mean, it's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of people that still need to, you know, keep going and learn a little bit more. But, you know, there's a lot of people out there that have some really dope messages that, you know, deserve to be heard. They're talented people. Like I could think literally as soon as I say it, I can think of like 5 people off the top of my head right now. But there's people out there that deserve to be heard, but they just don't know what to do to be able to be heard. So, you know, you have people who fall in position to where they want help and they're eager to get it, and that's how people get scammed, and you know, people take advantage of them. And that's what led me to put up the post on my Instagram about just being aware of scams, because I have so many people that come to me with like, hey, this person said they can do X, Y, and Z, but they're charging me $2,000. Like, and this is based on a true story. Like one guy like almost got scammed for $2,300. He put his name on a contract and everything, and I tried to save him, and hopefully he took my advice. But you know, like the artists are desperate, and like there's people out there that know that artists are desperate and they're looking to take advantage of them. And you know, all these people want to do is just be heard and be seen, and I think that that's screwed up. You know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. When I saw you make that post, I was just like, I just knew immediately when I saw that post, like, oh, you're a real, like, genuine, authentic guy
yeah, man.
to be calling out like that kind of
The
thing, you
scammers,
know.
the whole
It's
scammer
crazy,
culture.
man. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy. Yeah. Oh man. Well, I really appreciate your time and
for sure.
everything that you spoke on. Is there, yeah, do you want to just drop your socials and let people know where they can
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah,
yeah.
make sure you go and follow me on all social media platforms. You can find me by the same name across the board. You can look up Keys to the Game. I mean, but if you're on LinkedIn, you want to make sure you type in my real name, Kareem Guy, because you know on LinkedIn we got to keep it professional. Outside of that, check out the link in my bio on Instagram. That's where I keep a lot of my free resources. You know, I got tips on a daily basis, and of course, I do my Instagram live every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. You can submit your music using my profile. Outside of that, that's all I got for you guys. Is Keys.
Cool, man. Oh, also,
What's up?
when's the book coming out?
It's oh man, it's technically kind of out right now, but just not to the public because it's still in beta. But I want to say look out for it in the. You know what? I know exactly when I'm going to drop it when I hit 6,000 followers on Instagram, and I'm like 80 people away maybe or so. So you know, in probably the next couple of weeks or maybe less.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, thanks so much, man. I really appreciate your time, and yeah,
for
I
sure.
appreciate your work in the world as well, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure, man. So again, I want to thank Kareem for his time and his thoughts and all the valuable information that he shared today. He clearly knows what he's talking about, and he's been around the block a little bit as well. So I think some of the main takeaways is he talks about branding and how deep branding goes. To me, branding is almost a part of the creative process that's just overlooked by a lot of artists. You know, developing your vision and your aesthetic and what you stand for and what you're trying to do with your creativity is all a part of your brand. And once you can incorporate that and integrate all of that so it's a cohesive vision, it really gives you a roadmap on how to move in the industry and how to make sense of what you're trying to do. So that is one of the key points I think that he made. And another thing that he mentioned, which I've also been thinking about lately, is really empowering artists. And I think if you offer a service in the music industry, I offer mixing and mastering, he offers indie artist coaching. I think that if your end goal is not empowerment, that there's really no point in you being in the industry because you're just essentially leeching off of artists. So I love that he is out here as a coach to be empowering artists and to give them the tools to move effectively in this crazy industry. And I really salute that and respect that, and I think it's something to take away if you're a service provider in the music industry, but also if you are an artist. You know, there are the tools out there that you can educate yourself and empower yourself to be a financially successful indie artist while still maintaining your vision and your integrity. So those are the main takeaways from the interview for me. I really hope you enjoyed it. I think that there's a lot to take away and a lot to process. I really suggest going and checking out his page because he's consistently putting out really good content that, like I said, if you're not in that mindset, if you follow his page, it will start planting seeds that can start shifting your mindset and help you come from a more empowered perspective. So that's it. Thank you for listening, and if you are enjoying, please subscribe, please share with a friend. Follow me at Museworks Audio, and I'm consistently putting out new content and hopefully valuable content. And yeah, thanks for listening, and see you again next week. Take care.